Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Smash-tastic episode of The Gathering of Bros. I'm your host, Escobar, joined by my co-host, cohorts, Brothers for Life. That's right, I got two of them. They're back today, both of them. Leo Veritas, say hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And the one and only, thank God there's just one, Bulbasaur.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, he sounds great today.
Is that a
doesn't he,
thing
Leo?
now? You're just gonna do my intro, but like a little different?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
all
right. I just
What?
need to know.
I have to make fun of both of you guys, so I mean, it's just kind of. I can't just put all my making fun of energy on Esk here. So
Yeah, exactly.
I got to spread it out just a wee bit.
Yeah, just a little.
So we have a quick announcement before we get to our huge announcement. Just so you guys know, there was an episode where we featured our very own P-Murph. He guested on our show with me and Bulba while Leo was out. And I just want to let you guys know that show is coming. It's taking me a little while to edit the show because the audio quality was a little rough. I do take complete ownership of that. But don't worry, it will come very soon, just so you know. But speaking of special guests, we have some very, very special guests today. Not to say that it's special, but I mean, you know.
But he's Murph, you know.
He's Murph. Welcome to the one and only AV and Peon. Say hello, boys.
I like that we together we are the one and
Yeah,
only.
you guys are the one.
That's right. Two-headed serpents where AV.
You guys are like a package deal. You're a package deal.
I guess we are. I mean, it has to be, man. It's the nice brown and red.
The red.
That's right. Yeah. From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea.
It sounds fire though. It sounds like a fire like dish that you just.
Is that an underhanded ginger joke? Is this how we're starting this out?
Oh man.
You gotta get the cheap ones out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was funny. So we're joined, of course, by AV and Peon from Beyond the Metagame, one of our favorite podcasts that we like to listen to. Thank you guys so much, honestly, for joining us. We've been trying to make this work, Bulba being our kind of go-to person to set this up. So thanks, Bulba, for coming through finally. It's about damn time.
Yeah, I guess.
Diplomat of sorts.
So, before we get into the meat and potatoes, which is what everybody's really looking forward to.
What kind of potatoes? Are we talking like hash browns, or are we still
I like
on?
russet potatoes. That's my personal.
Yeah.
Russet
Okay.
potato.
Okay, we can do that.
Maybe a
We
potato
gonna like
salad.
add some garlic and cheese on it, or
That sounds good. Anyways, I wanted to quickly promote our merch store. That's right, guys. Teespring.com/stores/Gathering of Bros. Our first official tee is really awesome.
Thanks.
Seriously, our first official tee design is super awesome. You guys support it. Also, if anyone is interested in snapback apparel, I have a really awesome store that I started up when I was in college. I used to be in a fraternity, and my fraternity had a logo, and I made really awesome snapback hats. Well, I've done
you
the
were in
same.
a fraternity?
I was in a fraternity. Yes, I
No,
did
no,
this.
you're not cool enough for a fraternity, man.
Yeah, whatever. I did the same thing for the GOB logo. Really awesome black snapback hats with the GOB logo on the front. It's really awesome. So if you guys are interested, you can hit me up there. I'm selling for $30. So if you want to do the shirt and hat combo, rep us, spread the word, let everybody know. GOB, Gathering of Bros. Let's jump into our topics today. Obviously, we have some special guests, and they have their own podcast about specifically Smash Bros. And we talk about Smash Bros. Here all the time, so we're pretty much going to talk about Smash Bros. Guys. But we do have a couple other things that we wanted to discuss because, of course, Gathering of Bros is about nerd culture in general. It's about all these things that we love. We wanted to give these guys an opportunity to explain to us and the listeners just how much they consider themselves nerds and just loosely discuss some of the things that, you know, they love outside of Smash Bros. in nerd culture. So let's start with you, AV, since you're the first in the AV and Peon name. Tell me. I like to go in order there. It's alphabetical. So, anyways,
I appreciate that.
AV, tell me, outside of Smash Bros, outside of just Nintendo games,
Sure.
tell me, what do you like in What do you like in nerd culture? What do you gravitate towards?
So, I mean, I've always been really competitive, generally with my friends about whatever I've played. So whether it's StarCraft, League of Legends, Guitar Hero, OS, or OSU. So anything that's like strategy, any rhythm game, I'm always really excited about. I've obviously like Smash is like so obviously like the game to play with your friends. It's like where you just throw down and it's so universal that being good at that game is just like 10 times more important for like sometimes in friend circles if you're in the right ones than like any other game. So maybe that's why I kind of gravitated to that one. But yeah, other than that, I love rhythm and strategy games in general.
So
That's awesome.
So you did Through the Fire and Flames like an expert. You did it on expert?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I actually promised the BTM community I'd stream that. So TBD, I will absolutely stream Through the Fire and Flames on expert.
Yeah, it's epic.
AV is no joke either. Like, he's the kind of dude where when he gets into a hobby, like, look, as AV's friend, I want to answer this on your behalf, but you have, I think, a really deep sense of nerd culture. I don't think it's like the whitest. Like, you don't have the most diverse interest within nerdy things, but the things that you're into, you like take super deep dives. So like all the sort of rhythm game stuff, AV is just like a master. It's gross.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I was a huge Guitar Hero fan. I would actually play at Leo's house all the time because I've mentioned this on the podcast many times that I skipped a bunch of Nintendo generations. I had an N64, and then like the next one I had was my Switch that was generously gifted to me by my buddies over here. So nice. I missed a ton of different things, and he had Guitar Hero on the Wii. And I would come over and we would just play Guitar Hero for hours, dude. Like I think back and I'm like, dude, we wasted so much time.
Dude, that's not wasted, dude.
Guitar Hero.
Time well spent, dude.
I remember the Wii version of Guitar Hero. You actually like shove the Wii remote into the guitar.
That's what I had.
So you can tilt it. So, no, but Guitar Hero is such an odd, like that. Now in 2019, it seems such a distant past when those games were at the height of their fame. But those inspired a generation of musicians. Like, I started playing the bass guitar literally because I was the worst between my brother and I at Guitar Hero, so I would always be on bass. And I was like, you know what? No, bass is cool, dude. I'm gonna start. So I actually went out and got bass lessons, and I still play to this day, literally because of Guitar Hero.
Well, you know what's interesting?
Love the bass.
You know what's
the bass?
Our very own Leo is actually a amazing bass player himself. Nice. And I don't know if you knew that, but he can slap a bass pretty good, man. And
with Leo, I always got this like weird sort of testosterone-y, like alpha male vibes, and I think that connects. You know how like when Harry and Voldemort's wands meet in Harry Potter, like that was like me and Leo. There was like this bass player connection that only now makes sense in hindsight.
Oh, dude,
Peon, do you do the bass player rock? You know what I'm talking about? Every single bass player ever, when they're just jamming, like you're in a just jam session, they will literally rock. It's like a sway, like back and forth.
Oh,
like,
physically with your torso, like moving back and forth. Yes. Yeah. Oh, of course. When you get in the groove, when you're locked in, you gotta sway.
It's literally like an unspoken thing. Like I had lessons originally when I first started.
This is awesome.
And legitimately, like, he started doing it, and like I did it subconsciously because like I saw him do it. I was like, man, that's stupid. Why is he doing that? Come to find out, like my brother's like, why are you doing that? Why? I'm like, doing what? I'm like, he's like, you're swaying. You're doing the rock. I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's wild. That's that bass player.
It's religious, dude.
Yeah, it's that connection.
You feel it deep in your core. I know.
Real quick. You know what being good in Guitar Hero gets you now is when you go to the arcade and they have the Guitar Hero like section, like the game that you have to pay credits for, and it's always like if the volume was at a 10, like on everything else, it's always at least a 25. Like it's like the speakers, you just feel like your ears are just bleeding as you play.
Wait, hold on, they have Guitar Hero at arcades now?
Yeah, they do.
Round one.
Quick shout out to our very own P. Murph. Murph, what's up, my dude? That freaking episode of South Park when Stan and Kyle get Guitar Hero, and they go pro, and oh, dude, so great, so great.
And they're playing acoustic. He's playing acoustic.
Carry On My Wayward Son. That was their. Yeah, it was so good. So, yeah. Is there any other? Oh gosh, like maybe movies, comic books, and
let Peon answer the first part of the question before we get to the second part of the question.
Oh, is it okay? I'm not reading.
Yeah, I think Peon just did so much talking for me that you just forgot that you didn't ask me the question.
There you go. Okay, let's go back to Peon. Peon, so what do you gravitate towards in the nerd culture realm as far as outside of Smash Bros?
AV, you want to take a stab at this, or? So no. So I've been kind of a closeted nerd my whole life in a lot of ways. Like I've very much been into conventionally non-nerdy things in parallel with my nerdy things. You know, I play basketball. I guess music's kind of the connection between the real world and the nerd world. So I won't list music as an example. But my whole life I've been a competitive gamer. Out of the womb, I wanted to be like my brother and my dad, who in my formative years were like amazing at Donkey Kong Country. So of course I wanted to learn all the secrets when the original Warcraft 3 RTS came out. Hence my name Peon. For those Warcraft 3 fans, I was addicted to that game, even like from a very competitive perspective, even when I was like 5 or 6, like really early on. But I've just been a lifelong gamer. Everything Nintendo, Xbox, Halo, first-person shooters on PC. I've just kind of been always the guy in my friend group who is, tries the hardest at the games that everybody plays and then ruins all the fun because I've been practicing for 3 hours while everybody else is having pizza. So that's kind of the nerdiest thing about me, I would say.
Hold on. So let me get this straight. You were a DK guy growing up, and now AV is the one that mains DK?
Well, funny enough, AV, a Donkey Kong main in Super Smash Bros., had never even played a Donkey Kong game before I made him play through the first 2 worlds of Donkey Kong Country. He still hasn't gotten past the second boss at DKC. So, who's the real DK guy? Ask yourself that.
Okay, in all honesty, I have played Donkey Kong Country, and it is kind of a difficult game. I'm not.
It's pretty hard. It's not easy at all. Peon was making so much fun of me. He's like, hey, I came over. It like every time I would die, he would make so much fun of me. It was actually kind of funny. We probably should have streamed him, but
entertainment would have been great.
I beat that game when I was 5 years old. Okay, you could do it. Okay.
Dude, not all of us came out of the womb like holding on to a controller, dude.
That's right, dude. Well, fair enough. But I'm just, what? We'll get it done eventually. I'm making you finish it.
All right,
have you guys played Donkey Kong? Is that did you ask me that?
Yeah, well, sort of. The original Donkey Kong, the arcade Donkey Kong. Yeah, we were just talking about that before we started the podcast. Yeah, I played it actually. The first time I ever played it was in the DK64 game. And it's like one of the missions. You come across the arcade game inside of the DK64 game, and you have to beat all 3 to get an unlockable. And it's just I'm a completionist, so it took me so much time to actually get through it. It's honestly, I hate the game. It's one of the hardest games I've ever had to play. It's one of the hardest games I've ever had to play my whole life. You basically have to do it with no extra lives. You have to do it without falling and dying. And on the first level's cake, right? But then once you get to the second floor, he grabs Peach and he goes to the second one. Once you get there, there's things flying around in the fucking air, and there's there's no room to do anything. And oh god, it's horrible.
That game was designed to do one thing, and it was to enchant you enough to convince you to keep putting quarters into the machine.
It's a quarter eater. That's all it is. It's a freaking quarter eater. And I ended up. I was curious, has anybody, imagine me 5 hours in playing and playing and playing and dying and playing and dying. And I'm I got a headache and I'm damn it, is this even beatable? Is this bullshit? And I went on the internet and was has anyone ever beat Donkey Kong? And I looked at the high score and I was Jesus, Mary Joseph, how the hell did anybody do that? But eventually I beat
the whole Billy Mitchell scandal. There's this whole Like there was this guy. There was a documentary called "The King of Kong" back in the day, and he was like this long-haired, bearded man who apparently was like the #1 video game player of the 20th century. It was like this whole thing in the Guinness Book of World Records and everything. And it's since been proven that his original record-winning tapes were played on an emulator and were thus,
invalid.
Invalid, exactly. So there's weirdly enough, 30 years later or 35 years later after Donkey Kong Arcade, there's still a lot of noise being made about this. We're talking about it. The gaming community as a whole, it's kind of crazy.
People are dedicated to it, and I think we were talking about this. Like, I don't understand why people like the game so much. It's really not that good of a game. Like, it might be blasphemy for some people listening who are like, "Fuck you, that game is gold." But yeah, I'm telling you right now, it's just.
It was the precursor. It set the stage for everything to follow. It's almost like your great grandfather who's like a little racist and he forgets your name, but he's without him, you're not around, and you kind of have to appreciate that.
Oh man, like in South Park, like Grandpa Marsh. Hey Billy, my name's not Billy, Grandpa. Oh yeah, okay. Anyways,
exactly. And you just gotta tip your hat and pay respects, and that's life. That's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's Donkey Kong. All right,
someone needs to put that on a T-shirt. I'd buy it.
That's Donkey Kong. So, AV, let's get back to you for a second. How about pop culture nerdiness? Like, are you into any superhero movies or like MCU or DC Universe, anything like that? I'm a Star Wars guy, so like, are you? Yeah.
So some of the stuff that I love, Star Trek: The Next Generation is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I love Star Wars. I'm into lots. I'm into the DC and Marvel universes. Obviously not like the comic books, but I love the Batman trilogy. Like I love the original Spider-Man movies. Like there's
really.
Wow. Yeah, I actually do. Maybe I was just really young, but like.
well, in your defense, I'm a fan of some of the movies. Not all of them but some of the movies I'm a decent fan of. So I can relate to you there and how people are like they really think they were trash, but really, I mean, Spider-Man 2 is one of the best Spider-Man movies that's ever been released.
I agree. Maybe it's rose-colored glasses, but honestly, like I think I had a lot of fun watching them. So like I've been into anime. I've been into I love like a bunch of TV shows when you're growing up. Like Teen Titans was my jam.
Fantastic.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
you are
up today.
You are in the right place, my friend.
Tara.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Teen Titans is the best.
Okay, check this out.
Okay.
Shaolin Showdown. That's a
no.
bro.
Go down.
Oh my god.
Mucha Lucha.
Oh my god,
Lucha. Oh Jesus.
Oh man.
Jesus. I feel like I'm young
the
again.
nostalgia
Oh my god.
is hitting me hard.
Dude, Kids WB was honestly one of the greatest freaking Saturday compilations of shows. Like Fox Kids was good, but Kids WB brought it every
the best.
Yeah, like I've been kind of all over the place. I mean, I kind of forget how much stuff I've watched and played. Like, but it's like, yeah, I've definitely like I grew up in America, even though I'm like hella brown. Like I was born in Texas, which is arguably the most American place to be born.
True.
but like murder.
Ask any Dallas Cowboys fan.
What's up?
America's team.
Yeah. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I am a Spurs fan.
We can't all.
That's okay.
He's like, leave now. Get out of here.
AV, who's your favorite current Spur? Please tell me.
Okay. First of all, Peon's trying to call me out because I actually don't follow basketball right now. I followed the Spurs a long time ago, but thank you for keeping me in check. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
AV's like,
there's I like to say, a lot of people say bandwagoners. Fuck bandwagoners, okay? I'm a A's fan to a degree, but I will admit that recently I haven't been following baseball for maybe 2 or 3 years now. I've just been like focused on other sports and, you know, like work. So I would say I'm a follower of the, right? Not a bandwagon fan. Like, yeah, I would support them, of course, if they started winning. But, you know, I have a history of supporting the A's. I'm not a fanatic, which is what fan is short for, which people forget sometimes. Like fanaticism, what is it? It's when you're so crazy about something you follow it religiously. So I'm not following A's baseball religiously, but I still support the team. So I would say you might not be a fan, but you support, like, the team that you support that you like will get behind is the Spurs. No, don't worry. Respect, bro. Respect.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, it's been like, what, 10, 15 years? Obviously, I'm not. I mean, I love, like, I would watch a game, like, every now and then. I was kind of sad when Kawhi Leonard was traded away from the team, and that's kind of when I think that was the cutoff of when I stopped watching. So I don't know. I think that's about it.
Well, I think it's reasonable to say that fandom fluctuates. You know, there are times that you fall away from a team for a sport. Like right now, like I'm starting to get back into football, and for a couple of years though, I would admit in the past I've been a gigantic Niner fan, but there was a couple of years there where I was really focused on NBA, and like I'm a massive fan of the Golden State Warriors, like unhealthy fan of the Golden State. Like, you should see how many snapback hats I have. I do not have this much money to have this many hats, but yeah, it's crazy. But like the Niners, like I've kind of fallen out of my fandom. I'm more of a supporter, but right now I'm building it up again. There's something about this last season, not this season, but last season I started following them more. And you know what it was? It was that off season from hell that we had, Leo, when we basically traded our entire team. It depressed me.
Oh, dude, yeah. People were retiring left and right.
They
were leaving. Harbaugh left.
That affected. It hurt me. It hurt me.
Here's the thing, though. Peon is actually a huge basketball guy, and he plays a mean game of basketball too. So you should talk to Peon about basketball.
I am the White Mamba. I am Brian Scalabrine reincarnate. No. So, but it is weird. Is there a Ginger Mamba? No, there's not. There's not. Maybe that's
there is
not.
now.
Well, there is now.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. The red cyclone. I've been known to call it. No, but it is interesting though that like we talk about fandom in this sense, like with sports, it's almost like this weird committed relationships thing where you're either 100% in or 100% out. There's just like
we're taking a break.
You know, like, oh, you know, I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, unfortunately, but you know the Golden State, they're pretty fun to watch. You know, you have like that guilt, like, oh no. And it's so sports specific, which is odd. Like, you know, maybe if you're a fan of Marvel movies and a Batman movie comes out, you know, a DC superhero, yeah, you go and watch the Batman movie. You're not like, I don't know, or like with a video game, for instance, like say you love Nintendo, we don't feel any shame if we buy a game on an Xbox or we buy a game on a PC. It's just, you know, enjoying your hobby. Isn't that weird that like the whole...
But in sports, it's different. Polarized.
That's my point. Like, isn't that strange? I've never really thought about that. Like, what about sports makes it so different?
Dude, you guys heard it here. Some deep ass talk about nerd culture here on Gathering Bros. Well, yeah, but we related it back to video games. So, Peon, let's bring it back to you. How about nerd culture? Pop nerd culture. What do you gravitate towards?
You know, a lot of book series specifically. I mean, I read comic books and stuff growing up. I don't know if you guys have read Captain Underpants.
Oh,
bro!
It was a remarkably simple book series about this principal that would get like befuddled and somehow would transform into like an underpants wearing superhero and save the day. It was great, but there were these like comic portions nestled within the chapters of the
flip pages.
Yeah, it was a weird hybridization of a novel and a comic book, and it was kind of a really good introduction to comic books. So I enjoyed those so much. My parents bought me some comics, and I always enjoyed both DC and Marvel comics. But even more so, I've enjoyed stuff like, you know, the Harry Potters of the world, the Hunger Games, and that was a thing. Sort of those more like in literature, I was quite nerdy. I mean, I think I went to like 3 or 4 of the book openings for or Harry Potter, and everybody's dressed up like in a robe, everybody calling me a Weasley and everything. So in that sense, I kind of am quite nerdy.
That was so great.
You good? You good, bro?
No, it's just the fact that I wasn't there to see it, but the fact that I was told that actually happened in real life just makes me happy.
That little peon was dressed up as Ron, and people were
and somebody called you a Weasley, dude. That's freaking awesome. I'm kind of
that's right.
I never read I read the first book, but I wasn't really into the books. But I'm a big film guy, and Harry Potter, the films are they're masterpieces, especially because there was a shift in directors. So you get two different feels. You get the first two movies, and then Prisoner of Azkaban and on, when it was more relaxed. They were they weren't so. You know what I mean? They had their shirts untucked and they didn't wear ties all the time. So I'm a big fan of the films, and I've always wanted to dress up. I'm not gonna lie. I want a robe. I want a robe and a wand.
There,
I want to be that guy.
Embrace yourself, man. Enjoy. But it also, TV shows and stuff like Avatar: Last Airbender. I don't even know if that's nerdy. It's so great that I feel like it eclipses even.
It's fantastic.
Nerd culture itself.
I actually just watched all of it not too long ago. It was maybe 6 months ago. I binged the entire series, and the first few episodes, I was like, "Why is it popular?" But then I got hooked. I got freaking hooked.
That's how it always is.
It's one of those things. The first season's an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, and then by the time you finish the third season, it's just wow, that was amazing. It just gets better and better. But yeah, I think that's kind of the extent of my nerd history.
Do you watch any other anime or?
I've gotten into a couple. Have you guys ever heard of Sword Guy?
I don't know.
See, this is how this conversation always goes. People ask me, Peon, you watch anime? And I was like, well, have you heard of Sword Guy? And they're always like, no. And perhaps for reason, I don't think it's the best anime out there. I haven't seen many, so I can't really speak on that. But it's this whole thing. It's this anime. I actually recommend it. I do recommend it, where the whole premise is there's these swords, these legendary weapons that were used in real battles. Yeah. Right? It's about swords. There's a guy too. Can you believe that? But there's these swords. They spill blood, and they've been responsible for so much carnage and chaos that actually demonic entities infuse with the weaponry, and sort of it becomes the weapon itself becomes something darker than just a piece of metal. It has all
right, I'm already interested. Let's do this.
In it, right? And then when you wield one of those weapons, you actually either die, succumb to the power of the demon instantly, or your heart is not full of greed and you're not hungry for power, so you can wield the blade temporarily, but it fuses with you, and eventually, no matter how strong-willed you are, the demon will eventually control you. So basically, what you have is this army of people who get frozen, literally.
Okay, all right. Let's not go too deep into it, because you had me at weaponry. Let's save it.
Weaponry and demons.
That's it.
I'm most likely going to watch this. It sounds fantastic.
I watched 7 episodes. It was dope, but I didn't.
You didn't watch the
that's my extent of anime.
You watched 7 episodes and that's it. Is it only 7 episodes, or is it
no? There's I think there's 15 episodes. I watched most of the first season, and then I don't know what happened. I was enjoying it, but I just stopped watching.
Well, other things come up. That happens sometimes. But yeah, we're all big anime fans. We love it. You guys ever? Oh, we're huge. We have a whole segment at the end of the show when we save time for it, where we talk about anime. And honestly, we were all Dragon Ball Z fans when we were kids.
Nice.
And then Leo, in his infinite wisdom, started watching anime kind of here and there, and then he started building a list of look at all the ones I've watched. He showed me
my Keanu Reeves voice back. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, it's back. It's back, bro. It's back. And he showed me Sword Art Online, and it just, I got hooked so bad. And then somewhere along the line, Bulba started watching him too, and then this we're obsessed. We're freaking obsessed. So
help me understand something. So like, I'm not against anime. I'm very open-minded. I identify as a nerd. Yet it's never grabbed me, right? Other than my brief, intimate, wonderful time with Sword Guy, I have never been, addicted to it. Give me like one anime that I should watch.
Okay, let me tackle this one. Okay, so are you interested in like something that has a lot of action? Are you interested in something that has action and story, or are you interested in something like fighting, like the way Dragon Ball Z is, where it's not too much exposition, like there's a story, but there's a lot of just like action and like other powers?
We're gonna take it down to it even deeper. So, what are you more interested in? Something that's real world or something that's magic?
Mystical.
For me, honestly, I like good characters. The setting is less important than
the character development.
Yeah, exactly. Like, put me in the future, put me in the past. I do like some magic, though. Let me just say that I do like some magic.
Okay, so AV, you're an anime guy, yeah? You've watched some anime.
I'd say like on like a from 1 to anime, I'm like a 4.
Okay, that's respectable.
Well, how much is the to anime? I mean, is it like
5
or
exactly 5?
No, like I'd say I've watched like I think I've watched I think like 7 or 8 anime. My favorite one is Steins Gate.
Oh, bro, that's literally
Jesus.
literally what I was about to recommend to Peon.
Okay, that's it. That's the one. Say no more. Steins Gate.
Yeah, quick.
What's that one about?
Really quick. It's basically about a world where they discovered how to. Oh gosh, I want to say something without giving it away.
You can give it away.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
not necessarily time travel, but it's
no.
alternate universe travel.
Think Marty McFly goes back in time, makes a change, goes back to the future, alternate timeline. That's pretty much what it deals with. That's all you need to know. If you can hang on to that and get to the first 3 episodes,
I'm good for at least 7. That seems to be my thing.
Okay, if you can at least do 7 episodes, you'll be so hooked that you'll have to watch the whole.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say. We here at Gathering of Bros watch dubbed anime. Like no hating on subs. We do that to joke around. But
we hate subs. What are you talking about?
Okay, but either way, dubbed Steins Gate is fantastic. Like just the way that like the voice actors give emotion to the characters. It's pretty much like you're watching just a live action like TV show.
You know, I guess I could agree with that. I personally myself did not enjoy Steins Gate. That's just me, but I will agree that the voice acting was pretty nice.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
And I will say that Bulba's tastes tend to lean towards the mystical, magical. So it was. This is what I've kind of like determined based on what I know that he likes. A lot of the real world stuff, like you got to have extra like magical elements. Like for example, Tokyo Ghoul. He liked Tokyo Ghoul. But there's Tokyo Ghoul's freaking crazy. So, even though
tell me what's your favorite? Just so I'll watch Steins Gate. That's from Leo and Ask and AV. But just give me one magical one.
Well, let me ask you this: are you more into the lewdy kind of stuff, or into the normal stuff?
Okay, let me just lewdy.
Yes.
That's
like LEWDY.
That is the one. Yes.
He wants to know if you like boobs in your anime.
Can I say something? That's one of my biggest problems with anime. I feel like when I watch it, I don't want anyone to like catch me watching it because all of the female characters are
like
just
this is
weird.
dirty.
Like, no, seriously. Like honestly, help me get past this. Okay. Every time I've tried to watch anime, and this includes my darling sword guy. Like so many of the characters, specifically the female characters, are just like objects of desire. And
it's called fan service.
PM just watch Prison School.
Oh God, no! Please, I had to turn that one off, dude. I thought High School DxD was bad. And then I watched Prison School. It was like, whoa. Okay. So there are levels of fan. There's softcore fan service where it's just like accentuated boobs and then like all over the place and bouncing when they run, like like legitimate like bound, like it's accentuated. And then there's the medium level where it's more suggestive. Or you know what I mean?
What was that anime that you told me to watch, Boba? That I said my grandma was going to see me watching it, and I was like,
I mean, there was
how not to summon a demon.
Oh, how not to summon a demon lord? Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean that was more like a medium. There was no legitimate nudity, but it was very suggestive. It was very.
I mean, even the voice actors in that were like kind of getting into some stuff. I was like,
yeah, that's a medium.
That's headphones on.
I want to separate as much of that as possible from my like anime experience. Like, I don't want to be aroused. I just want to watch a show, you know. Like, just I want to come home from work and just watch a show. You know, I don't.
I think we can all agree. Like, if you're since you only go through like 7 episodes and that's about it.
Right. Which anime has the best 7 episodes?
I think all 3 of us can agree the Rising of the Shield Hero would probably be the
best. Yes, Queen!
Okay, I'm writing this down. The Rising of the Shield Hero?
The Rising of the Shield Hero. I discovered this accidentally. It was recommended to me on Funimation. And I watched like 3 episodes of it. And I was like, fuck, this is amazing. So I messaged these boneheads and was like, guys, you got to watch this. And it was still ongoing. Like there were still new episodes coming out for the season. And then we all caught up and we're all like, wow, like, are you guys ready for this episode this week?
It's true.
And we were like, we were thirsty for this shit. It was crazy.
That's pretty
I would highly recommend that one as well. So let's do one from everyone. So we got Steins Gate from Leo. We got the Rising Shield Hero. Yeah, but you can. You said I was already going to do that.
It's from both of us.
Yeah. So from AV and Leo, and then from Bulba, I almost called you Vulva because that's what your name is in the Discord right now. Oh my god. From him, he's doing Rising of the Shield Hero. For me, I'm going to highly recommend that you watch Attack on Titan.
Okay. I've heard of that one.
So Attack on Titan is an alternate universe that's loosely based on our history as humanity. Okay. The premise is that all of human society has been reduced to the humans that are inside of this walled civilization. There's 3 circles, and there's like one big giant one, and there's a smaller one inside, and then inside that there's a smaller one. And
is it arranged by like social class or something?
Yes, it actually is. But the reason that they live in this society is because sometime in the past, Titans appeared. Giant, genitalialist, they don't have any gender, naked, man-eating monsters. They're just smooth. That's all they have. They don't have any genitalia.
They're not wearing clothes.
They're not wearing clothes, and they look.
Oh, I'm just imagining somebody went on a recon mission. Like, okay, we're going down south for the winter.
They're giants. They're naked, and they run around, and they eat humans. And they come in different sizes, and they have driven human society into behind these walls, and that's all the humans that are left, right? And it picks up with a giant event, and after you watch the first or second episode, probably the first episode, you'll be perfect. It is the first time I watched an anime, because I'd been watching anime for a while by the time I ran into Attack on Titan. It's the first time I watched an anime that I was so hooked the moment I started watching it, I could not stop watching it. I started around 8 p.m., and I was up till 4 in the morning watching Attack on Titan. And at the time, I was working at Starbucks, which was horrible because that means I was working in the morning. So I only got about 3 hours of sleep, but I stand by it. It was worth it because that show was freaking amazing.
I guess that's a good company to work for if you're like pulling all-nighters.
Yeah.
This is the wrong word for it. So I would recommend you watch it. It's three seasons, right, guys? 3 seasons
so far.
Yeah, I think
so far. So there's a lot to watch, and I'm telling you right now, it's one of the greatest anime stories I've like. It's fluctuated on my list. Like, we all have a ranking system here. All 3 of us kind of have our own, which one we like the most, and so on and so forth. And it's always fluctuating because we're always watching new anime. And Attack on Titan has gone up and down and up and down. It's my number 2 slot right now.
Cool.
Which is
cool.
saying something. Yeah. So those are 3 that we recommend you start with. This is what I'll say about anime, because we're going to move on because we don't want to sit too long here. We got some other stuff to talk about. Smash Bros. Anime is a very unique genre because it's adult cartoons. That's the reality of the situation. When we were kids, freaking, Blue's Clues and all that bullshit. Like, that's
Bro,
like
hey, don't be hating on my boy.
Oh no.
My boy Steve or my little girl Periwinkle.
I will recite the entire mail
your
time.
name's out of your mouth, okay?
I will recite the entire mail time song to you right now. I have no hate for Blue's Clues.
Okay,
Just
we're on the same team here.
Mentioning it, yes, we are. Mentioning it to make a point. Little Bear, like all these like shows that we watched when we were a kid. They were, there wasn't. They were fun to watch, and it's the basics of cartoons. Stimulating the mind. Somebody decided one day that they were going to make a genre that could basically do anything. Like live action, you can only do so much, Sometimes too much special effects. Like, it's the whole reason why people bagged on the prequels in Star Wars for so long, because there was too much special effects. You only do so much of that. This gives you amazing stories that really you couldn't tell in a live action form. And, like, they're so compelling. They're as good as any... Okay, I think... AV, you had mentioned you liked the Nolan trilogy Batman, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like, those movies are fantastic because the story that was written is amazing. Like, the drama that is portrayed, Christian Bale, and just his growth into the Batman. You get, all the way back from his beginnings with Ra's al Ghul and how he was trained. Like, the whole story is fantastically written. It's that, but with crazy shit that you could never do in a live action format. And you can take more risks, and you can tell stories that you just couldn't do it anywhere else. It is a genre, I'm telling you right now, that has grown so much in the past 30 years that you could not see anime almost anywhere in the United States in like the early 90s. Like, ask Leo. Him and his dad used to like catch subbed anime just like on the most random ass channels.
True.
And it was the only way you could watch it. And now there are complete apps that you can subscribe to with almost an unlimited amount of content that's dubbed. Yeah. It's a growing genre, and it's one that is, I promise you, going to become much more prominent. To the point where there's going to be more podcasts like yours is specifically dedicated to Smash Bros. There's going to be more podcasts that are specifically dedicated to anime popping up in the next 10 years. And it's going to be like it's going to be flush, trust me.
I'm convinced. That was such a beautiful exposition about.
I'm passionate about
anime.
That's what we have here.
Is now the prime minister of anime. He's got my nomination.
So, right. I am into Overwatch. Are you guys excited about picking up Overwatch on the Switch?
So I love Overwatch. Played it on PC ever since the beta. So for that reason alone, I think I'm not going to be picking up the Switch just because I'm so used to the mouse and keyboard side of things. But I think it's awesome that Nintendo's picking it up, despite some controversial recent Blizzard news. But
yeah.
I think it's a great move for Nintendo Blizzard, but I personally don't think I'll be double dipping.
What about you, AV? Any Overwatch play for you?
Yeah, I've played a ton of Overwatch. Peon's way better than me. I'm a casual. I think Peon was like diamond ranked or something, and he was actually a pretty good player. I'm just like a one trick Zenyatta that's been firing soulful Zen balls since the beginning of the since the beginning of the game. So I don't know. I love experiencing tranquility, and I'm actually
gazing into Iris.
just opening my third eye. Yeah, I Yeah, for some reason, there's something that just like I actually meditate a lot. So for some reason, I just like got obsessed with the character because it's just like this like Tibetan monk that's just transcended everything we know and love.
I mean, he throws balls at people. I mean, you can't complain. It's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
I love how he just like simplified it. Like he's like trying to explain like his philosophical reason why he chose
on a deep level.
he just goes, yeah, bro. He just throws balls at people.
It's like, enjoyable throwing balls at people. I tell you. So I'm a pretty big Overwatch player myself. I've been playing on PlayStation 4. I got the game probably it's been about a year and a half now. Oh, almost 2 years actually, and it's been a great experience. I got really hooked into the game to the point where like I'm pretty dedicated with my play. I've never hit Diamond. I've been very close, like literally 2 points away from being Diamond, and it's been a pretty huge source of stress in my life. So I'm definitely excited for Overwatch to come out on Switch. And I'm looking forward to it just because there's a lot of guys in our Discord that they don't own PS4s, but they are interested in playing. So if you guys at any point reconsider, just know that you will have people to play with if you decide to do that. And like kind of like you mentioned, Peon, like I play on PS4, so I am concerned about like moving to a different console with a different controller and having to almost relearn moves and my timing and syncing and stuff like that. But I think my ability in the game is definitely giving me a leg up, and I should be able to actually wreck people. So I'm excited to have at least some game experience coming into it. So yeah, but let's move on. Finally, before we get into Smash Bros, Lee, I'm going to pass it to you, and then you can lead our Smash Bros talk. Sell your best pitch or battle for the grid.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard that there is a Power Rangers fighting game that came out. Every like couple podcasts, like it seems like I work for this company for how much I promote this game. But
that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
But
we need a sponsorship.
It's basically we need the sponsorship. It's basically a 3v3 fighter, so kind of like Dragon Ball Fighters or Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's Power Rangers. Which, you got the old OG Rangers, you got some stuff that they've been sprinkling in from the newer seasons that you probably look at and go, oh, I have no idea what that is, but that costume looks kind of cool. That's pretty much the extent of Power Rangers in general, but Bulba, do you remember how much it is? I think it's like 15?
It's like $15.
$15 on the eShop. I know you guys obviously are competitive in games. At a $15 price point, would you consider playing such a game? A 3v3 fighter that, is just almost how Bulba described it was, it's like you pick it up, you play 15 minutes, you're good, and you put it down.
Dude, that does seem very intriguing, the idea of just messing people up as Red Ranger. I'm not put off by the premise. I guess I would need to see the gameplay to see if like I was intrigued on a deeper level than
just
a fascination.
I feel like it's your typical Marvel vs. Capcom or your like Mortal Kombat or whatever your arcade fighting game is. It's kind of the same kind of 2D side scroll kind of deal.
Yeah, 2D fighter, 3v3. But no, I mean, it's funny because, when I first tell people about it, like I came in when we started our podcast and I slowly just started to like promote it. And then I actually am part of another Discord, like I'm a mod in that Discord, and they actually do like weeklies and stuff. Like, AV, do you ever trek out to Wednesday Night Fights in Oakland when they do the Smash stuff?
So I've actually never gotten to go because I'm actually pretty far removed from East Bay, but I am trying to. I will absolutely. I will let you know because we'll coordinate and I'll definitely come by.
Oh, dude, yeah, that would be
swing there.
That'd be sick because I'm actually I guess Vallejo's in North Bay now, but that's where I'm staying at now because of a life thing that happened. But they're at Wednesday Night Fights. They have I think pretty regularly like a side event of Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Because the dude, I guess their company is centered in San Francisco, and obviously that's the esports arena, so they'll go and take it out there. So, yeah, I will give you this guarantee: if I meet you at Wednesday Night Fights, I will absolutely play it with you. All right,
dude, you guys are just AV. We're about to start a new Power Rangers Battle for the Grid exclusive podcast. Like, goodbye Smash Bros. Hello Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Let's just we can just go back in hindsight and just every single time we say Smash Bros and all the podcasts we've made, we can literally just edit Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's a really terrible like editing. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna play Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's like a high pitched, like not even.
We just
the
do
same
one
sample.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I'm intrigued. I do like. Okay, so like on the topic of like unconventional fighting games, like I loved like the Godzilla fighting games as a kid, and like those sort of fighting games that aren't like probably going to be at Evo, but are still dope. So I'm always intrigued by every kind of fighting game. So this seems cool.
Yeah, I'll send the what is it like? I guess we call it the trailer, but I'll send it to you guys in PM. That way you can see what it looks like, but. Honestly, I I put this in here just to kind of get it out there for you guys. If it's ever like one of those times where, like you've played Smash for a little bit, like you're like scrolling through the eShop, as one does when you're looking for a random game to play, and you just see it there and you're like, $15, Leo told me about it. Like, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
For no other reason.
Thank you for putting that on my radar.
Sweet. All right, so we are going to get into the meat, even though it's a little bit late in the podcast. So obviously you guys have a Smash podcast. I found you guys because of joining our friend and brother N64 Josh. He's super dope, and I actually got to meet you guys when we were at Genesis. And we had that meetup and had some True Burger.
Some amazing burgers.
Nice. That was my call, by the way. I'm going to take complete credit for that because Josh was messaging me.
I owe you.
He was like, hey, man, like, I know you're in the area. Like, what's a good place to eat? And I was like, oh, bro, we got to go to True Burger. So, I'll take complete credit for that.
What is that?
That was so good.
I hear good things about True Burger.
Oh, it's fire. They're fire burgers, but...
All right, when we take an Uber together, I feel like I was snuggled up against Nightcrawler or something.
What's up?
Did we take an Uber there? I feel like I was snuggled up against Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
When we talked about
Yeah. We Ubered there, and then we walked was it like 4 blocks? It wasn't too far, but we walked to a bar, just to like chill for a little bit, and I had to leave because I have a child and a wife at home, so I would have hung out longer, but
my boy Leo hanging out at a bar? What?
It was short and sweet, like my 7-episode venture with Sword Gang.
Exactly.
Hey, there you go.
Exactly. Well, anyway, we have our little Smash section here, partially because, I've loved Smash ever since I played it on 64, and I never was competitive up until maybe the very tail end of 4. And just kind of hopped into Ultimate, basically because of the Smash Bros. Cast, because of Josh, because just listening to Josh and Crawler and kind of what drew a lot of people in, like hearing that they weren't pros, hearing that they're growing every time they get on the mic and record. You could just hear that they've had a new like breakthrough, or even if they're not having a breakthrough, like you're kind of going through what they're going through, and I ended up obviously listening to you guys because of listening to Josh's originally, and I got to tell you, like, I don't know if it's some like weird like cosmic. I'm putting the vibes out, and you guys are just feeling it. But like for this past season, every time that you guys are talking about something that's like, oh, my character crisis, like AV and DK, and picking up Joker, and like whatever. Like I've been having that like character crisis with like Toon Link. Like, okay, who am I going to pick up next because I'm tired of losing in this matchup or like whatever. So it's just funny how like I just vibed with you guys.
You guys are picking up what he's putting down, but he's saying it's a shared connection.
I vibed with you guys, so I'm
soul bond.
Yes, exactly. I'm happy that you guys got to be here, but we had a little discussion that I think we've kind of come to terms with now after a few podcast episodes, but with
quite a few podcast episodes.
Yeah, quite a few with Esk about I guess just how to get better. Would you say, Esk, like how you personally would get?
I would say it's more like how to effectively learn the game from my perspective as a noob. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a better way of putting it. See, like Esk had said earlier, he hasn't had a Nintendo console since the 64. So, we bought him his Switch, and he's come over to my place. Like, we've been friends for a long time. So he's come over to my place and, played here and there, played Brawl, played Smash 4, all of that. But, like, he's casual. So, in him trying to become competitive and playing myself, who had a pretty big head start because, I got the game when it launched and, he didn't get it for... How long have you had it? Maybe like a couple months now? A few months?
I got it maybe in May, so I've had it maybe since May.
Yeah, so not too long, and also not having the like resources and stuff that I've had. Like you haven't had the time or had put forth the effort to look up VODs and all that stuff, other than something basic like IZOS stuff.
At first,
yeah. But basically, here's what I'm seeing if you guys could kind of put your 2 cents in. Would you tell our buddy Esk here that playing in an arena against an opponent like myself, which again I'm no god, I would say I'm high mid tier of players. Like if you guys are like top tier,
I don't want to hear it from you.
I'm what?
You're team god.
No.
There's no
so
ifs, ands, or buts.
If I may. So Leo is admittedly, I've played people who make Leo look like he's like me to him. Okay, so I recognize that there are people out there that are legitimately gods. Okay, however, I'm an ant. Those people are human beings, and Leo he's a dog.
No, I would say anteater.
He's still stepping. He's still stepping on me.
Yes.
Every time he goes outside, and this has been our argument in the past few months. Is that they're telling me that even though it's frustrating, I need to keep playing and getting scraped because I'm learning things every time I play, and it's actually helping me. My argument is that I'm getting beat, and not so much with Bulba. Bulba's more closer to my skill level, so I feel like I can learn things, and I'll explain why. When I play Leo, he's so leaps and bounds better than me and has such a firm grasp on the fundamentals of the game, let alone his combo sets. Just the fundamentals is knowing when to identify that I'm rolling too much, which is something that even I can't even, because I roll way too much. He's able to comprehend these things so well, way better than I do, that it's like an ant fighting a freaking dog. That's what it is, and I'm getting scraped. And for me personally, the way that I learn things is to be successful with it. And to, especially with combos, like learning how to play, for example, at the time I was playing Cloud, learning how to play him in an effective way that I can compete in a match to the point where I don't get 3-stocked. Because realistically, that's all I'm looking to do, is not get 3-stocked. I'm not going to win. I just don't want to get 3-stocked. Let me take at least 1. And I can only do that personally, again, by being able to play in a way against somebody that I can get good at with playing him. You know what I mean? But I find myself playing Leo as Tink. And I would say it's only as Tink. Because I just am incapable of understanding how to beat his ranged attacks, his spammy attacks. I mean, we've talked about this into the ground, but it's part of the play style. I recognize that, but because I don't know how to combat it, I spend most of my time trying to dodge his projectiles to the point where I can't actually hit him and practice how to hit somebody.
Yeah, and then let me piggyback off that and say that when I first started, this was back when Joker was released, I first started, and me and Leo, we would be playing nonstop together. And my main is Sonic, so I literally have nothing. I have nothing to counter projectiles. It's literally getting in your face kind of deal. And Leo will agree that ever since I started as Sonic till now, I have learned how to effectively avoid his projectiles and kind of combat him in a way that he has to change his playstyle. So that's why we're kind of like at heads trying to figure out why S can't learn the same way that I've progressed kind of deal.
Right. So sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Peon. Real quick, just to preface this. Again, we've three of us have kind of come to an agreement on said situation because we're obviously friends. We're not going to stay super mad or salty at each other. But
the salt does pour.
The salt pours sometimes, but we've kind of agreed to disagree. So I guess maybe if you guys can, I guess, answer from Esk's perspective, someone who just kind of picked up the game. Like, he's interested in becoming somewhat competitive, but he's not like, planning on becoming the next MKLeo.
I just don't want to get great all the time.
So he from that perspective, like playing someone who, you've had years of playing against, but obviously through different Smash games. How would you, I guess, coach him up to be able to learn how I play?
Right, so I'll take a wide angle shot at this, and then I'll zoom in on Esk. When it comes to improving at Smash Bros, it's complex. I can give you a 1-minute answer, or I can make a Super Smash Bros podcast devoted to the subject and still have an hour plus worth of material to talk about each week forever. It's a complicated thing. I equate Smash, especially as a beginner, Esk, I'm zooming into you. Improving at Smash is like climbing a mountain. Exactly. That is infinitely large, right? And it's snow-capped, right? And you take a few steps down, or take a few steps up, and then, avalanche. You get knocked down a few steps. And you take some more steps up. Oh, look, you catch a ride in a snowmobile, and you take a huge shortcut, right? That snowmobile is some really good advice you got, or some breakthrough that you had. Eventually, if you kind of just keep on playing, like if you and Leo were to play, the two of you, Banjo versus Toon Link, forever, right? Like literally for 1 million years, you guys would both be two of the best Smash Bros. Players in the world. Maybe the best two. Like with enough repetition, you're going to learn things. But of course, we don't have 1 million years, right? And you need to hitch a ride on a snowmobile and learn some things that you can directly apply or quickly apply to improve your circumstance, right? When it comes to playing against somebody that's a little bit better than you, Ask, I like how you framed it. You said that Leo's so good that, I'm learning how to dodge the projectiles, but because he's better than me, I'm having trouble actually landing a hit against him. And then, thus giving myself an opportunity to practice my combos, to practice my advantage state in general, right? And that's a great observation. That's true. Against Leo, you will learn a lot, but you won't learn everything. You will learn how to avoid projectiles. You will learn how to beat Toon Link. And, of course, while you're playing, you'll actually be practicing your movement with your character and figuring some other things out behind the scenes, but you definitely won't be learning everything simultaneously. So that's a good observation. Play against Leo. Play against Bulbasaur. Try to play against some other people and proactively think, okay, what am I learning from this example, right? And when you approach it with that mindset, which it seems like you already are starting to, you're going to be learning a lot faster than people who are just at the grindstone, the people who are just playing without, thinking about what lesson they're currently being taught.
And I think that's what I've identified at this point, having discussed it again into the ground incessantly, is that Leo has even admitted, like, yeah, I'm definitely better at dodging his projectiles. I mean, I'm not perfect. I still think that his bomb and boomerang predict the future, but I'm confident that I can at least dodge it enough that I can prolong my life, whereas before the matches were ending much quicker. So I can at least admit that, yes, I have gotten better at that. But it's at the point now, and this is where the frustration comes in, is where that I can't overcome it because I'm missing a key element, which is understanding the offensive capabilities of my character, whether that be Cloud or Banjo. And I find that when I play someone who isn't using the projectiles to keep me at a distance where I can actually land hits and practice, like, what works, like what 2 movesets can I use? For example, Leo. He sets up his combos a little too much, but it's an effective combo where he sets them up with a boomerang or a bomb, and he follows up. I'm still learning how I can do that to where I can actually, because that's essentially how you win matches. You can dodge projectiles all day, but unless you're doing damage and landing hits, you're not going to win the match. You're not even going to take a stock, which essentially was my problem for a time. And I beat Leo. I'm going to say this completely, take it with a grain of salt, because he was completely distracted. I beat him earlier today before we started the podcast, and it was probably the first time I beat him in fucking years. But I will say that I was able to land more hits on him than I normally am able to, and because of that, it led to me taking more stocks. Had he been more focused, I think he probably would have wrecked me. But that is an example. No chance. That is right. That is an example, though. Like, being able to land more hits led to that victorious outcome.
Sure.
And I need to practice on other people so I can get more familiar with it, because right now I'm just guessing.
I think here's the thing. Like, I think Peon described it well, and he set it up really well in the sense of, like, you have to kind of hitch this ride on the snowmobile. I mean, the way that I'll take that is that I'm a huge fan of puzzle games, and in puzzle games, there's many different elements. They'll usually they'll introduce 1 element, then they'll introduce 2, and then they'll introduce 4, and then suddenly you have to deal with all 5 or 6 at the same time. Learning Smash is a lot like that. And then let's just say there's a bunch of different ways you can solve different amounts of puzzles. Sometimes you have to go and solve a bunch of other ones before maybe some at the beginning make more sense. That's the analog I would create when talking about playing Leo, is that a lot of these things, a lot of these bomb setups, a lot of this projectile play will start to make more sense once you kind of contextualize it, playing against other characters, playing with other matchups, playing with other people. And once you start, like you said, once you start landing hits, which you will be able to do against players that are equal or lower to your skill, your mind is going to start opening up. And scientifically, the best way to improve, and this is basically just going off of just raw neuroscience, is to feel uncomfortable, but to feel uncomfortable in as many different ways as humanly possible. So it's not just like getting hit by boomerangs and bombs and arrows. It's getting hit by like zero suit flip kicks and DK heads and Diddy Kong bananas.
Those fucking bananas.
Jesus. Infant Bayonetta combos.
Exactly. So I mean, and it's also you kind of giving people the hands, you hitting people with nasty banjo combos, you playing people that are lower that are lower skilled than you, and then you get to realize, oh wait, I just hit this and that led to this. Wait, let me see if I can just do that on, let's see if I can do that on Leo next time I land a hit. So the way to develop all of your entire gameplay, which is kind of the most beautiful part of Smash, is to have this like variety of people and experiences that you play against, which is like the awesome social aspect of it that I think drives me and many other people to play the game, is that you can't just get good just playing, staying in a room playing with your friends. It's like a social experience that you have to go and like enjoy it with as many people as humanly possible.
Right, and that's it. You will learn from playing Leo. You definitely will. But like certain things, like you pointed out, okay, I'm not getting as much opportunities to practice my offense. Well, you have to supplement that somehow. If you do want to improve and you don't want to just play the game socially, you're literally going to have to put in time in the training room practicing combos against Toon Link or against whomever, right? And so the first battle is being aware of your shortcomings, right? So in this scenario with you playing Leo, you don't get to practice offense. That's the first step. The fact that you did that alone is huge. Now, how do you remedy that? A, practice against someone that you could beat up, or B, supplement that practice by yourself, right?
Yeah, and I think more quick play is honestly the solution for that, because every time I see a public arena, some pro just on the weekend, on his off time, seems to join and picks Captain Falcon and makes me feel like my first day. So yeah, the quick play is honestly going to have to be the way I get that supplementation. I just played earlier today. I played a Mario right before you guys joined. I was playing a Mario, and I played him 7 times and lost about 2.5 million GSP. I was at 3,500,000, and I'm now 300,000. So.
Oof.
Yeah, it was a rough go, and I'm almost glad that I did that, because it's gonna give me more opportunity to grind back up to that moment, or that the GSP that I was at, which is gonna give me more opportunities to play lower level people and get more of that practice in on the offense, which I think is like something that is really lacking in my game. I mean, I'm pretty evasive. I have to stop rolling, and I've been practicing that incessantly ever since it was pointed out to me that I roll too much. But really, the offense is mainly the thing that I think needs more practice. That once I really get it down and I know effective strategies. For example, I've been watching the VODs and trying to get advice on how to play banjo and what are some effective strategies. One of my favorite things to do with him is to hop off stage while recovery is happening from your enemy, and to Wonder Wing into the ledge and tech. It's fantastic when you actually do it, but I'm still trying to get the timing down for it. Predicting is like 50% of the game. Like, you have to know when they're going to grab the ledge, if they're going to grab the ledge. I think I did it earlier when I was playing AV, or I made an attempt and I completely mistimed it. So it's in the practice stage still, trying before implementing it and being successful with it. And I think I'm going to be able to do that once I go through quick play a little more and I start playing some people.
Oh yeah,
dude. Well, I mean, Smash. When people ask me, well, how do you get better? If there was one sentence that would sum it up, if there was one thing to do to improve, everybody would just do that, right? It's just a matter of getting repetitions in, playing as many people as you can. Playing those people as many times as you can, and learning more than everybody else is learning, right? That's all you can do. That's all you can do. And I think that your mindset right now, to me at least, seems open to that reality. So I don't know. I think
it took me a while to get to this place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Happy to have that other advice, I guess. Yeah, other input. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. Bulba, did you have any questions or anything that you wanted to ask our boys here before we go into our little tournament corner section?
No, I mean, I didn't actually get a chance to play y'all before the for the cast, because my kid decided to, the one time that I wanted him to go to sleep on time, he didn't. So I mean, I feel like once I actually play you guys, and I'll actually more questions as to how to get better in your guys' eyes. So I mean, up until then, I think I'm pretty much set on the questions.
Right on. So let me preface this. If you guys have listened to our podcast, we made a little section called the Tournament Corner, but For maybe a first time listener, if since I'm sure there'll be some BTM folks who will end up listening because you guys are on. I decided that it would be a good idea to make our little tournament corner section where Esk has our little jingle. Esk, go ahead and give the jingle.
Time to talk about how much we suck.
So, yes, the time to talk about how much we suck. Basically, obviously, I now have 2 children. My wife gave birth on the 23rd of September. So,
wow, congratulations!
Thank you. I heard that your sister gave birth recently too. So, congrats on being in.
I forgot that I talked about that on the podcast because I was like, "How the hell does he know that?"
I got you. I'm right there next to you. Don't turn around.
Proud uncle. Uncle.
Well, and you also told me specifically, so
I wanted to make ssure you knew Bulbasip about my sister's
exactly.
child.
I needed it.
Yes, Christ.
But because of personal family. Anyway,
we'll just fly past that.
Yeah. We're gonna keep moving. That's what we do. A lot of time when Boba or S says something, I just keep moving.
Damn, that's how we gonna do this. All right. Hey,
yeah, pretty much.
No big deal.
Pretty much. So anyway, Tournament Corner. The reason that I decided to start doing it is because of my work situation and because of my family life. I rarely get to go to my locals anymore, but even then I wasn't going as much because of just, life. So I decided that at the very least, to try to be somewhat competitive, I was going to start joining online tournaments. So I found one that has a weekly. It literally, you win money from it. People put in the pot. I think monthlies are 60, weeklies are 20 for first place. But anyway, I joined that one. And it's called JWT, I believe. And then because of that, I found a couple different ones and whatever. But the whole point in kind of talking about my placings, our placings when Esk and Bulba join different tournaments, is basically just because, again, I am not that good at this game. They'll say it till they're blue in the face that I'm good at this game. I personally know that I can get so much better, and even with Toon Link, I can get so much better. Like there's
the guy that took 4th on the BTM tournament. Just saying.
There is a guy in our region, since I'm in NorCal also. 3XA. 3XA is a fantastic Toon Link, and I aspire to be the Toon Link that he is. I've also seen, like Hyuga and XCal and Jabes and like all these like different, like I've gone out of my way to identify Toon Links who have placed well, Toon Links who have, just put the time in, whatever. And part of the reason I made the Tournament Corner is to kind of do a little bit of an homage to the Smash Bros. Cast, which is, if you could hear how I'm doing, or either that or my mindset for how I placed in tournaments, maybe it would encourage a listener to try one out themselves or to continue. Just like, Bulba and Esk are obviously newer at this game. They haven't been going as long as any of us, but they'll still join, and they may not, get the placing or place at all, but they at least tried. And so, I originally did it so that.
Hey, I got a higher place than you on that one.
You did for the DQs, all those DQs.
We take those.
I've been scraped every time.
But anyway, yeah. So I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to do any tournaments lately, but Peon, I'll start with you since AV usually goes first. Have you joined a tournament, local or otherwise, recently? And what was the placing if you did?
Yes, a couple of weeks ago. I haven't been able to go. I didn't go this week or the week prior, but I did get. I think it was 5th at a pretty stacked NorCal tournament. The thing is we have these it's crazy. There's an esports arena that's literally located inside of a Walmart. What? It's the most bizarre. I see it on Reddit pop up once in a while where someone will be like, guys, look at this. There's an esports arena in this Walmart. What the hell's wrong? I'm like, oh yeah, I know that place. And anyway, there's a 70-person bracket each week there, And
wow.
It kind of sucks because it's pretty cramped in there. Then you want to have it kind of relax, step outside, and then you're in a Walmart, like the least relaxing place in the entire world.
True.
So it's kind of bizarre. But anyway, I got 5th out of 70 people or so. I lost to Prodigy, who's a fantastic Mario. Took him to game 3, but nice. Game 3 he 3-stocked me, so he kind of wasn't really having any of that. And then
and who did you play? Squid Boy or Captain Falcon?
I was playing Wolf actually against Prodigy. I try to rock the Inkling against a lot of people, but against Mario specifically, I prefer to go Wolf actually. So he does a good. I learned that lesson the hard way. That Inkling Mario is like Prodigy also has destroyed Cosmos in tournament, the best Inkling in the world. So it was like he's amazing at that matchup. Anyway, not to go into too much detail. I then lost to Verst Ace, a really fantastic NorCal Rob player.
Oh yes,
that's a matchup that I'm trying to get a handle on because I'm not too great at it. But yeah, all in all, it was a good tournament.
And NorCal has some like kind of weird like people have invested in some characters that you don't really see anywhere else. Like I remember, I don't remember what tournament it was, but I remember Luis placed like pretty high in that one tournament. Like it was just so happened that he played somebody in bracket that had Incineroar, right? I think that's what it was. And because of someone else in NorCal that had plays Incineroar, like he had that matchup experience, so he got to go further on. And
yeah, but Magister.
Yeah. So yeah, that's dope. You're where is that at? It's Santa Rosa. Is that where?
No, so I'm up in the greater Sacramento area.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
That local is actually in Roseville, Roseville. Rockland, California, or Roseville, one of the two. Okay. It's kind of on the border. I'm not sure.
It's Roseville.
Gotcha, Roseville. Cool.
Yeah. Correct him. There you go.
Yeah, correct. AV, how about you? Any recent tournaments?
The last tournament I went to was there's this new tournament in Campbell called AFK Lounge. I actually went to it like maybe I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was going to that and one other weekly, but I got 5th there as well. It was like 45 people. It was fairly stacked, some decent amount of NorCal PR, and I lost to Luis in winners. That was game 3, last stock, last hit.
Wow,
that was
crazy.
That was insane. It was so funny. Game 3, I had a 3-stock lead on him, and he came all the way back.
Oh, dude!
Dang.
And wow. I was so I've never actually like popped off for losing, but like I was like jumping around like so excited about how awesome that set was. I was just like so excited. I didn't care that I lost. I was just like that was such a good set. And then in losers, I beat a few people. I beat a really good NorCal Robin, and then I lost to Sandfall, who's arguably the best Shulk in NorCal. I don't know. I think there's probably people who have a lot of opinions on that. But yeah, Sandfall's a really good Shulk player, and that was my last tournament.
Nice. Well, yeah, I've joined online tournaments. I haven't gotten to go to any of my locals, but I recently did the JWT. I went 3-2. Not the greatest showing that I've had there, but I find that like when I joined this tournament, like it's almost like the longer that it's gone on, more people have realized like, oh, I could actually win like money, because a lot of Smash.gg tournaments are just like, for prestige in a Discord or something like that. And, this one actually has money on the line. So it just feels like more and more people are like learning like, all right, I could put my hat in the ring in this tournament. So I did modest, 3-2. And then I kind of felt, I don't know, like I could have done better. And I ended up joining like an early Sunday morning. Those are Saturday evening tournaments. And I joined an early Sunday morning online tournament that I placed 9th in. I went 3-2 again, but there wasn't as many people who joined. So it's just for the listeners, regardless of, I guess, what you end up placing, you could go 0-2 in the tournament. I think it's kind of just best to have that, mindset that you can take it, like, AV and Peon going up against NorCal PGR players, that it just in that moment it seems very daunting, but I guess you just kind of have to put that to the side and just play your game. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the fun, though. It's like going to tournaments online or in person. That's one thing I like about Smash. Like, if you like basketball, you're probably never going to ball up LeBron James. But if you play Smash or any other fighting game, you can go compete locally at major tournaments, or if you happen to live next to a high-ranked player, and just play against them. It's an open bracket. Or you can just walk up to them and say, hey, want to play a set? And people will say yes. And so it's cool, man. It's cool. It's part of the fun. It's part of like just being in the same arena as people that you really respect is just so fun.
Yeah, awesome. Really quick, I know I had asked this on BTM, but when I first started going to my locals, I noticed, and Esk has experienced it now because he had gone with me to one of them. But there are a couple of people who, obviously I'm not going to say their gamer tags or anything, but there are a couple of people in NorCal who seem to think they're God's gift to the world and that they're fantastic.
That's me. That's me.
They're total dicks.
Even in like my brother's wife went with us just because my brother and Esk and I were there competing. And she was just listening to these dudes like talk, and they just seemed like so into themselves. They're like, like just the best people there. And have you guys? I guess Peon, I don't know how long you've been in NorCal for. I know you recently had moved, but have you guys experienced any of that in the particular tournaments that you guys have gone to?
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced it in the sense, I've seen it all the time, and I think that's pretty normal for any like competitive nerdy gathering space. Yeah, but I have seen it in NorCal a few times, and it is frustrating, but I think it's kind of irrelevant as long as you just as long as you have good experiences with the people that are really fun. And then trust me, I've met so many really amazing people in NorCal
for sure.
that are just wonderful to hang out with, that like just because someone thinks that they're God's gift to Earth, like, I mean, for all I care, it's in my interest that they keep thinking that, because if they once they actually find out they're gonna make lives much worse for a lot of people. So
yeah, well, I've met tons of jabronis. Like my girlfriend's supportive, and she comes to some of my tournaments. Not all of them, but she definitely comes to some. And look, she's pretty hot. I'll be frank with you. She's a beautiful woman. I'm proud of her. She does, she has great hairdos, and but sometimes bringing her into like a local is like bringing a prime rib into the dog kennels. Like everybody's barking at her. It's weird. I feel like uncomfortable on her behalf. And look, the Smash Bros community is a subsect of a nerd community. Right. I know this is we're a bunch of nerds here, but there's a reason society shuns us at large. No, I'm just kidding. But
not so much anymore, though, huh?
No, yeah, now it's cool to be a nerd. I mean, look at us now. But I will say this: there's a lot of weirdos in the Smash community. Overwhelmingly, I've had way more positive experiences than negative. But like, I've never been one to sugarcoat it. Like, there's some weird people at some Smash tournaments, and that's just kind of the fun. Look from a safe distance, like that's a zoo.
There are some stinky ass people at Smash Bros tournaments.
What's funny is the stigma of that. There's obviously I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna worry about me and the deodorant that I put on. But I personally didn't smell it. Like, you were trying to tell me that there's a smell. I didn't smell it. Like, I feel like at least the local that we went to.
In S defense, you also work at a recycling place, so I mean, you smell all kinds of things.
True.
You don't even think about it.
True, I guess it's true. Like, my sense of smells died now.
I mean, if you go to any nerd-ish sort of event, Comic-Con or any sort of convention, there's just one stinky guy that stinks it up for everybody. I think that stigma is actually overstated in Smash. I think you only really get that smell, if you're very unlucky. Like my locals, it might smell a little bit like weed, but no one smells like
that's not a bad thing, though. I mean, I'm just saying.
No. You know what I can say is I wasn't playing him, but I was observing a match, and I was standing next to this dude, and I
taking
swear
big
to God,
whiffs next to the guy.
I swear to God, it smelled like he hadn't showered in a week. And it was like I was at a good distance, you know. I like my personal space, and I could smell him like I was like right up on him. And for a stench to travel at it, you know, when there's a good distance between you and an individual, it's got to be pretty pungent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that's everybody. Most of the people that I met at the local that I went to with Leo, they were really nice. They seemed like normal individuals who just like to play Smash. But there were a couple that looked very unhygienic. And
way to judge a book by its cover, Ask. All right.
I mean, I'm sure they're nice individuals. And think about the dude who was, and again, we're not naming any names, but the dude who thought he was God's gift to, you know, all of Smash Bros. Like, he is a put together gentleman. He wears nice clothes, and I'm just going to be straight up. I'm secure in my sexuality.
In homosexuality.
I'm well, yeah, whatever.
Man.
He's a good looking dude. Like, I'm sure he's out there doing his non-nerd things as well as making some money with Smash Bros on the side. And he was put together. But then there are other people that are nice, that are, you know, I'm sure that this guy that smelled like he hadn't showered in 5 days and drove on a motorcycle on the way to the tournament, and it was 100 degrees outside.
Motorcycles look synonymous with foul odors.
Well,
wouldn't that air you out, if anything?
That's what I was thinking.
Not in a where you're just roasting on a leather platform.
100 degrees.
Assuming you're even wearing a jacket, because a lot of people, when I was riding in California, they didn't wear jackets. They didn't wear anything.
Just in the straight t-shirts and
that's right.
Shorts.
Well, this guy, I don't know why. You know what?
Maybe it's the shirt that he wore for 5 days. I don't know.
Maybe he rode a bike one time.
It's his one like extra nerdy shirt that he wore. He wanted to show it off because he loves the design. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, it's his good luck shirt.
Yeah, or that.
That he hasn't washed in 5 years.
Well, real quick, Genesis 7 meetup?
Question mark?
I'll be there.
You there?
Yeah, I'll be there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for sure going. My wife gave me the go ahead. She might even come with me, which would be awesome. But I'm gonna be there.
Be careful, dude. It's a dog kennel out there, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Remind me of the dates, Leo.
I believe it's my mom's birthday is the 25th of January, so I believe it's
end of January, I think, right?
24th, 25th. I think.
I'm seriously considering, because I'm not going to compete because I'm trash, but I'm seriously considering buying a spectator pass.
Okay, hold on. No down on our boy N64 Josh, because he got a lot better, but you got time to get better. And I believe that by the time it comes around, you'll be better than how he was. And he took a game when we were at Genesis 6.
Yeah, the only thing is you actually need to play instead of playing Overwatch every single day. So,
or at least allocate some time to play Smash. You know.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But anyway, yeah. So our boy Gabe is going to be there. I believe Slacker, our mods here in our Discord. I'm
assuming I live in California at that time, I'll probably show up.
Our boy Bolda. We'll get Eska a spectator pass, but yeah, we got to have another meetup and find out if Josh and Crawler end up coming by.
Do we want to talk about the exclusive apparel that we might be bringing to Genesis?
Oh, our boy Gabe might make some jerseys for us.
Hell yes!
So hell yes! Gathering of Bros graphics.
G.O.B. Yeah.
Let's go, Gabe.
Yes.
I want to see these. I want to see these jerseys.
Yeah. So we're
ready.
We're pretty hyped. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to train up and not get just the doors blown off as I did in my second match that I played. But
time for the Rocky style training.
Guys, thank you for being here with us today. It was a wild talk, just some bros hanging out.
Yeah,
it is
some bros gathering.
Some bros gathering. That is correct.
It's like when you watch a movie and they say the title of the movie and you're like, "Oh, that's the title!" Like, yeah.
All right,
yes.
Take us out of here, Esk.
I thought one time when Harry said Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and everybody was like, "Wait, well, that was a little on the nose, wasn't
it?" Philosopher's Stone. For those of us in the UK. Thank you guys.
What?
So much for
joining. You're not in the UK.
But you're not in the UK. Don't say us.
Yeah, you said those of us that are in the UK. You're not in
the
UK.
But I said it in a British accent, like
I didn't hear.
No, not really. I didn't hear that at all.
I didn't hear that at all.
Peon, AV, did you hear that? I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that either. I'm gonna have to hear that again. We'll have to put you on blast.
We're gonna have to play it back and like isolate his audio.
We'll play it back. All right, guys. Thank you guys to AV and Peon for joining us today. Guys, make sure you go and subscribe to their awesome podcast Beyond the Metagame, where they talk about Smash Bros in great detail. Really, if you're like me and you're training up to really not be trash, their
one
podcast,
tier up above trash.
Their podcast really is fantastic. They really they take you along their journey where they're trying to become better players
and help others become better.
Yeah, they're trying to bring people. They're trying to move it on up, yeah. So, so again, thanks guys for joining us. It's been fun. Don't forget, guys, to join our Discord. Link is in the description below, wherever you're consuming our show, whether it be YouTube, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're there in the description. The link to the Discord, where we're talking about the same things we talk about every time we have a podcast, but in more detail. So engage with us, play games with us. You can catch us on Twitter at Gathering of Bros. Again, that's at Gathering of Bros. Me and Leo update that all the time, and we share a lot of the same news that we talk about in the show, but often preemptively. So sometimes you can get a good idea about what we talk about following our Twitter. Remember, guys, you can also email us comments, concerns to gatheringofbros@gmail.com. Really love and appreciate the feedback. Even questions, like we've had questions about pets and stuff like that. Those are great questions. So send us more of that, guys. We really want to hear more from you. And remember, Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. There you can also find our Gathering of Guests, a special show that I did this last time was with Craxus about Star Wars. Check that out. A lot of different ways you can check out our content, guys. Thanks again for joining us for today's gathering. It's been so much fun. Again, AV Peon, you guys are awesome. From the Bros and AV and Peon, peace out and stay gold.
Peace out.
Peace out, Rainbow Trout.
When in doubt, Peon's out. Hey, all right, bud. We're doing a rhyming thing.
We out here, dude.